Telltale has been releasing narrative-driven adventure games for years now, and many of them have been rather enjoyable, I have to admit. But I think it's fair to say that there are some issues with these games. One of the hallmarks of a Telltale game are its technical shortcomings, from incredibly poor performance in many of the ports to serious save game issues on others. I myself lost my save file twice while playing through The Walking Dead, and in a game which focuses on the impact of your choices, this is kind of a big deal. Thankfully, things have been improving over time with better overall performance on modern consoles and, at least in my case, fewer save game issues. But now we have Telltale's take on Batman, and on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 at least, performance is now at an all-time low. What are we talking about here? Well, it starts with the resolution. We got 1600 by 900 on PlayStation 4 and 1280 by 720 on the Xbox One. Okay, not a great start, but then you have to take into account that the game is letterboxed throughout, and suddenly you're looking at an even lower resolution. How low are we talking here? Try 1600 by 766 on PS4 and 1280 by 614 on Xbox One. While the resolution is certainly lower on Xbox One, this version does seem to at least make use of some sort of anti-aliasing, which may as well be missing on PlayStation 4 with the size of these pixels. Neither version looks particularly clean though. Look at it this way, Batman runs at each console's lowest respective resolution in a shipping game to date. There is no other game on these systems that runs at as low a resolution as these two titles. Believe it or not though, this is not the game's biggest problem. The real issue is performance. The game runs very inconsistently on both consoles. It's an uncapped frame rate here, but it can range from 60 frames per second all the way down to sub 20 FPS. Looking at the two side by side here, it's clear that performance is actually very similar between them, but the spikes are more pronounced on PS4, leading to an even less consistent experience overall. The game does appear to operate with a double buffer VSync solution in place, which means it fluctuates rapidly between 16, 33, or 50 milliseconds, or worse even. The truth is, it just doesn't move smoothly at all. Every major action scene is interrupted by these inconsistencies, and it gets old quick. But this situation is a little different from many other games, as this is really just an adventure game. The frame rate has almost no real impact on the actual gameplay here, but I do believe that it still matters just as much. You see, Telltale is trying to present a cinematic experience here. It's a game that strives to tell a story and immerse the players in its world. Wildly unstable performance and technical problems absolutely destroy a presentation like this. How would you feel about walking into a local theater and watching a movie with skipping frames or other performance problems? It would detract greatly from the experience, just as it does here. But what's more disappointing about all this is that Batman apparently makes use of an updated version of the Telltale tool, the in-house technology powering all of Telltale's games. We did notice the inclusion of things like shadow maps here, improved animation work, some new post-processing effects and the like, but the upgrade isn't as dramatic as we might have expected here. It still looks remarkably similar to previous games, and the changes simply cannot justify the massive hit to performance here. This release of Batman simply needs work. Releasing it with such poor performance just makes the whole thing feel quite sloppy and hurts the overall presentation. Unfortunately, based on Telltale's past, I'm not so sure we can expect this to be fixed either. But really, that's about it here. If you're interested in playing the game, do take note of these problems before picking up the Season Pass, for instance. If you're trying to decide between the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One versions, it should also be noted that the Xbox One version does seem to run slightly smoother than the PlayStation 4 version. Neither runs well, but it becomes a balance between do you want slightly higher resolution on the PS4 or slightly better performance on the Xbox One. And with that, we're out of time. If you found this informative and witty, or just informative but not witty at all, do give us a like and subscribe. And until next time, this is John signing off.